What is going on, guys? Today we are looking at objective league player Bellerin, probably one of the first dynamic images that we have seen holding a camera. Absolutely cracking dynamic. I love this card. He is finally one of the cards I really am happy to grind. I'm really happy to do this review of him because he just comes out of nowhere and is actually the savior for a lot of people's squads. In terms of the objectives, you've got to win 15 matches with at least 11 Premier League players in, score 30 goals with Premier League players, assist 20 goals with Premier League players. You've got to assist in 4 matches, separate 4 matches across using Premier League players. I believe you could use a striker who's not Premier League and then use the assister has to be Premier League. I believe you're going to be using full 11 Premier League anyway, but just to clarify. And then you've got to score a finesse goal in 6 separate matches. You've only got to win 15. That's the only objective that has to win. Everything else you can obviously lose the match and still get the objective complete, or at least a progression for it. The question is he worth the grind? I'm going to go through all of that. We've got a more kind of scheduled, a bit more robust kind of script as such for these reviews now. I'm testing it out on Bellerin and really wanted to try and put it to the practice because I find myself waffling a lot more, and what I'm doing is repeating points. What I want to try and give you is more of a kind of robust, like I say, a kind of not condensed but a more structured video, a more structured player review. I get to show you all the points. I've already got the end screen or end review screen kind of down to a T at the minute. We have added something new, so if you want to check the end out, and then obviously going forward in the in-games, in the gameplay, I want to make it less waffle and more solid fact. But the question of this video is going to be, who is the best Premier League right back? Pretty much is the only choice are Bellerin, Semedo, Walker, or even chuck in a Wan-Bissaka. Let me know down below out of them 4. That's going to be the question of the video, and let's get into the end game. So looking at the basic info for him, he is a 3-star skill move, 2-star weak foot. I know I'm coming back to that point. Right footed, obviously being a right back. He has got a high attacking work rate and a low defensive work rate. Another point we will kind of touch on. He is also a lean player. No real traits. I believe there's only one that's for the SBC, the computer. I was thinking the SBC. It's for the computer, so obviously there is no traits that he does hold that will be useful for our gameplay. In terms of strengths then, looking at the stats, I'm thinking, what is good about this card? Well, we know number one, obviously his pace is absolutely phenomenal. I think that obviously is the big point, and is a lot of the point when it comes to these right backs. Normally it's the pace, then it's somewhat physical maybe, because we know defending is normally pretty good as long as he is somewhat of a decent rating. We normally can kind of gather that defending should be alright, which in this card it's not bad. I feel like with the chemistry style it boosts it even more. We will have a look at the end review. In terms of the next kind of positive for me is gotta be his dribbling. Really good on there. There is a negative in there which we will get onto, but the dribbling side of him was actually really nice. Everything's above 80, which is always good. As you can see on the screen, good agility, balance, good reactions, ball control is nice, and the dribbling in general is pretty good. And then the main one I think that is kind of like, it weighs up the negative, is that he only has 66 strength, which for me is a bit of a negative. I want him to be a little bit more tougher. We do know that Walker holds the highest kind of strength in the Premier League right backs, but the aggression I think does kind of not necessarily outweighs it, but it does make it a little bit better. Because we've got 82 aggression, I feel like that is not a replacement like I say, but it helps. It does help. Rather than having 66 and 70 on strength and aggression, having that 82 just gives me that little bit more clarification that he can tackle and he will be aggressive when coming down that wing. And that's an important position, because I do find a lot of players going down that left wing, if you've got a Neymar, if you've got someone like a Mane, they are going to be going at you at 4-4, so you need to have someone that is ready to match them, A on pace and A or B on aggression. But in terms of the weaknesses then, I think there's 4 I'd say that really stand out for me. One is the weak foot. I think that's a big one. 2-star weak foot is very poor. Unfortunately there's nothing we can do about that, but it is kind of made better that there's no other Prem, I don't think, that has a 4-star weak foot. Again, it's kind of silver linings, but at the minute we do need someone with a 4-star, or at least a 4-star weak foot. I'm not too fussed about the skill moves, but weak foot is definitely one that I would like to have, because if they bring you on the other side, then obviously I want him to be able to be confident enough and really put in a shift. The next one is going to be composure. 76 is not great whatsoever. When you're going into your 20th, 30th, 10th, even your first foot champ match, I want to be 100% certain that Bellerin's going to get that job done. And with 76 composure, I'm going to have doubts at times. Granted, it doesn't normally make too much of a difference in terms of a right back, because you always have a centre back or someone there to kind of mop up the pieces as such. And I didn't really notice too much difference with the games that I've played with him so far. So it's kind of like a wait for foot champs, because he is in my foot champs team now. So we will see a little bit more over him, and I kind of can report back on Twitter or on the comment section of this whether that really made a difference over the foot champs course of things. And then obviously strength I did mention, and another one that I've not really found too different yet, but I feel like a lot of people will have that same kind of issue, is the work rates. High attacking, low defensive is not great for a right back, especially if you are having that right back stay back. You want to make sure he's staying there. You don't need him attacking. I really love this guy overlapping. He is absolutely rapid, but that always leaves a hole. Unless you've got quality fast centre backs and a left back maybe covering him, then you want to make sure that you are kind of confident with him and you either keep him back or let him overlap, because once he gets going, his kind of assist play is bar from none. Obviously, if you look in the gameplay in a second, you will see how many assists he managed to get and just what sort of kind of winger he could be. So if we do go into the gameplay for him then, the one thing I noticed is the pace is phenomenal. He is rapid when it comes to recovery, when it comes to just coming and chasing him down. He has got a phenomenal pace, acceleration, sprint speed, and just overall kind of like presence on that right back. And each time, every single time they went down that left, without a doubt he was either there to catch him or at least push him out of play, push him inside, make sure that he's obviously kind of not going behind him, unless he's gone for that through ball and I've personally moved him out of position, which I can't really class as a Bellerin problem. It's more of a computer problem where I've made that mistake. But we see him time in, time out, getting them challenges, getting them interceptions, and he's just phenomenal at it. The tackling is brilliant. Weak foot, like I say, is not great when they come in on the inside. You've always got to make sure. 2-star weak foot is not great. 3-star can be a push, but I'd say 4-star is normally what I kind of strive towards. And over the course of FIFA, as we go further and further into the game, the expectations will always get higher. So right now, the expectations is like kind of like here. Next week, it's going to be a bit up. Next month, it's going to be a bit up. And by the end of the game, it's going to be nowhere near comparable to this point in the game. In terms of work rates, I like him overlapping. I think he's wonderful at that. We see him constantly going around players and really putting in a shift to get up and down the pitch. He's got decent stamina, and overall I think he's just a nice player. I really did enjoy I didn't enjoy getting him because that was a grind and a half. I feel like 15 wins is far too many. I'd have definitely took 10, but I think it is worth it. It is 100% worth it. I was personally using Wan-Bissaka, and I think this guy is much, much better. And I did a Wan-Bissaka review. I've done a Semedo review. Walker's the final one to do, so definitely stay tuned whilst I do him, and let's get into the overall. So to start off the overall, we've got links up. We've got a lot of Spanish lads that we can link him to. We've personally put down Ramos. We've put down Rodri. Partey is obviously an Arsenal player. We'll have a look at the club just to see who else you could link him with, but mainly it's going to be Spanish. We've got a few decent ones. Obviously Spain, in terms of high rated players, have kind of gone downhill at the minute. Icons are a different level. They're a different kind of gravy because 337 or 357k is going to be a lot to try and link somebody. We've got PK who's kind of past his prime. We've got Carvajal in the same position, and then also you've got someone like Ramos, Thiago, Alberto, Pereiro. They're not the most appealing players in the world. Again, we've got Sergio Roberto. Porto could be a nice one, especially seeing as though he is a road to the final. Some decent links in his own nation, but I think I would be looking at more Prem, if anything. I think that's where you really want to be linking Bellerin rather than going through his nation. I feel like that would be kind of like the way to go. In terms of his kind of team then, we've obviously got Aubameyang. You could whack as a CDM if you are struggling to link. That is always a way to do it. Same with Lacazette, we got him in the last kind of level 30 in the storyline. Partey is personal favourite of mine. Very, very good CDM / CM. And especially if he does manage to get a couple more informs, we could really see a very, very good player there. Other than that, there's not really anybody else that I'd want to link him to. Ozil's past his prime and I don't see him getting much of a special card. Gabriel's a little bit slow in terms of centre-back. Maybe if he hits an 86, 87, we might see a little bit more, but I just don't see it. Willian, again, and Pepe, I suppose, if he did get a couple of informs, Pepe would probably be my next choice. But really, not too many of the ones that I really want to link. Aubameyang would be my favourite, Partey second, and then if Lacazette does get a couple of informs, he would definitely be third. Being 25, then we got Bellerin in FIFA 15 as he got himself his first bronze card for Arsenal, and since then he's managed to get a silver in FIFA 16, getting himself his first team of the season, an inform, a silver inform. He then gets a Scream, or the very early promo of Ultimate Scream in FIFA 17 with I believe that's a premium SBC player, an inform in FIFA 18, a Carnival card in FIFA 19, really hope that comes back. I love the design on that one. A player moments in FIFA 20, and already we've got a league milestone objective card, whatever they want to call them. It's hopefully more, he's hopefully going to pass that kind of one inform drought. Obviously for the past 4 years, if you include this year, he has only got one special card, so I'd be interested to see if he does manage to break that cycle. Obviously he started really well in FIFA 16, and then in 17 he still managed to kind of get a little bit more, even though one was an upgrade. He's still got 2 other specials, and then since he's only had 1 each game. So in terms of competition in that right back role, Trent is obviously the highest rated Prem right back you can get, and in fact if we do go with the league, we'll have a look at specific league to kind of compare him to. We've got Pereira, I think will be a nice right back. Don't know if he'll cut the kind of the top 5 for me, or maybe even the top 3 he might miss out on. Top 4, top 5, he could potentially have a shout. Walker obviously is up there with the best of them. Bellerin, I think, is one of, if not the best right back we can go for. You've got Cancelo, a little bit past the mark in my opinion. Wan-Bissaka is in top 5, I would say, for me, and Semedo could be top 3 with Walker in personally my opinion. It'd be interesting to see what we're looking at, because Walker's coming in at 54, that obviously will drop down during Black Friday. We then also have Wan-Bissaka at 5, Semedo at 7, 93 if you want to get his one to watch, which luckily we have a one to watch version. I feel like Semedo's probably the second choice for me. If he does get an inform, he definitely could really blow it out the water, but whether he gets an inform as a right back is the next question, because that is a very hard position to fill, as there's so many players week in week out getting absolutely cracking performances. Tyranny being one of them, the highest goal scorer for Rangers at the moment. He is the penalty taker, but that is nuts that the right back is the top goal scorer in a top 1 position in the Scottish League. But in terms of chemistry style then, obviously I've run through all of the objectives. I think he's worth the grind 100%. I think the 2 chemistry styles you'll be looking at is either Anchor or Sentinel. Sentinel obviously kind of like focuses more on the physical and the defending, whereas the Anchor adds a little bit of pace to that if he needs any more, but I think it makes him into an 89 rated right back, 88.6, and then the Sentinel gets him 88.1, so there's not a huge difference, and mainly what you're getting is one more physical on the Anchor, and then one less defending, which I think I'm absolutely fine with. I think you mainly get the head and accuracy up with the Sentinel, which I don't really think I need too much of. Obviously we have centre backs who are always going to be aerial threats, and if he wins a kind of like a header with a left wing player, it's going to have to be someone like Ronaldo playing left wing, or Rashford, because in terms of Neymar, in the air, he's not really prolific. Same with Mane. Quite a small player, he'll still have a chance there. Whereas with Anchor, he gets that pace increase, gets the defending up to 89, and then also gets that physicality. But in general, I feel like this player is pretty good. I personally rate him a 9 out of 10. I think he is a wonderful, wonderful player. And what I want you to do is let me know down below, did you enjoy the kind of new, robust, scripted, I say it's scripted, but it's not, but kind of points written down? Did you prefer that, or do you prefer me waffling? Let me know down below. Make sure to like and subscribe. I'll see you all for the next one. Peace.